Okay, so here I am, third day, I guess, or second day with the Ulephone Note 16 Pro. The answer is I'm returning it to Amazon, and I'll tell you why. A few things. One of them is not Ulephone's fault. It is the fact that Android 13 is just a bloody nuisance. They've changed things they've removed things. Finally, I found it in the settings, but they've got us trained for the functionality of the three keys that you can see there. And these ones are non-existent on the new Android 13. It took me a while going through settings before I found that. And for me, I used to use Apex Launcher. Apex Launcher, you can't seem to get it now anymore. They haven't kept updating it. And Apex Launcher was very much like a Linux desktop where you could have different, see here I slide to the right, and this launcher is called O Launcher, I think. And I mean, it's kind of interesting. You can put some favorites on the home screen, but for me, I used to have home screen plus another screen to the right and another screen to the left, and I would have them each organized with different apps. So my home screen to the right had my communications and my online shopping. It had my news and my online shopping. So I had things like eBay and Amazon because I use that for my business a lot. And also, personally, we'd shop for some stuff for the family on Amazon, and that's okay. So I have that and eBay and Kijiji. And then I also had some of the news channels on that side. And I also had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apps on a slider on the bottom, and I could slide that drawer over and have different 5 apps. And so I had some different things on the right. I had my communications like my Yahoo Mail and a few other things like that. And then if I slid it over to the left, I'd have what I call entertainment and music and radio. So I could slide the main home screen to the right, and then my screen that was basically sitting here virtually, and the controls, when I slid that, the controls were separate. Then I would get my online radios and Sirius XM and different things like that, as well as some sound recorders and an MP3 player. So sadly, with Google 13, Android 13, I don't really have access to that same sort of Linux-style desktop organization, because it's wonderful for organizing things, keeps things nice and clean and in control. And this, basically, I have room for a few shortcuts. I can go here, and the cool thing about it is if I want YouTube, I type in YouTube, and it'll go right to YouTube. It'll open it up, but it's a bit different, yeah, and I don't really need it. Now, the other things about the Ulephone itself, the speaker really is not good. To use speakerphone, don't expect to be able to listen to speakerphone if there's any ambient background noise at all. You need a quiet location. What else can I tell you? I didn't even try the camera, didn't bother. The screen, I'm not impressed with it. It doesn't get super bright. Even though I want these to be white on black, somehow it's pink, but that's partly Google's fault. Google doesn't give you a chance to change that. Kind of annoying. And then what else about this Ulephone thing? I think a lot of it is the Google 13. It's just a nuisance. Oh yeah, watch this. So if I want to try and open a browser, let's see, we'll open a browser here and then try and type something. So I used to use, I need to be able to type Japanese. And this software that I'm using, you see it's really dark. Even with the light here, I can see it fairly well with my eyes. But anyway, this is Japanese input. But usually up above the keyboard, on the top side of the keyboard, you'll have a candidate bar where it shows you a whole bunch of different options. And then if you're writing in English, right? I write English, but it should say English here. So here's the keyboard, and here's the input bar. So your eyes are jumping up and down and up and down and up and down, and it's not as efficient. So the older input methods do not work well with the new Google. So this one is sadly going back to Amazon. And the phone, like I say, the screen isn't so great. The speaker isn't great at all. I like the weight of it. It's fairly light. You know, it is what it is what it is. It's a good phone. It's a good basic phone. But you got to make sure you are okay with Android 13. And you got to make sure that you don't really need to be using it out in the light, and you're not going to use the speakerphone very much. I use the headphones. The headphones are fine. Right? So everything else seems fine. And I mean, camera, if you want a really good camera, get a camera. Right? Anyway, there you go.